In our 20-year experience, we see that a lot of people struggle with proper steering. So this is a major reason that people can't fix their path management. Now, when you sit behind the wheel, firstly, make sure that you can reach all the controls comfortably, and make sure that your elbows are not, in a sort of locked position. So the steering wheel must have a bit of a free move when you're driving, particularly when you're cruising straight ahead. So you should not squeeze the steering wheel and disallow it to move to a certain degree freely. So that way you will ensure that your path is much better, and the car will do a lot of things for you. Now, the front suspension of every car is designed to handle little bumps and uneven surface, but if you over control it, you might disable that function of the vehicle. For example, if you're driving on the freeway at 100 kilometers an hour, if you have your arms very stiff on the steering wheel, it will potentially cause you to swerve out over the line and potentially clip another car. One of the other things that can influence your path is using your indicators and other controls. So when you use indicators, try not to do it while you're steering. So we always do it before or after, so your steering is free and without any obstructions. So make sure that you use your signals or window wipers before you start to make a sharp turn. Your path will be assessed in both low speed maneuvers and high speed maneuvers. So more practice you have, the less chance of making errors. So make sure you had enough practice before you book your driving assessment, and do ask your instructor if they believe you can pass. Just the other day we had a call by a person who couldn't pass the test just because of their path, and they were complaining how it's a reoccurring problem. Trusting a competent and caring instructor who's professional and who knows how to convey their knowledge properly will be definitely the best investment that you can do. So never think that you can learn driving by just watching videos. Videos are good to watch, and obviously to get to gain a little bit of extra knowledge, and obviously to be involved in practicing without actually driving, but they are certainly not a substitute for proper practice. When you do low speed maneuvers in a driving test, changes of direction can expose incompetence when it comes to path and tracking your path accurately. So a lot of times people would oversteer to make a turn and then overcorrect it later on. So basically it would make a bit of a swerving motion, and as a result the candidate definitely loses a lot of points. Sometimes when people do low speed maneuvers in a driving assessment, they would accidentally go to the opposite side of the road. For example, if they do the exercise, left someone behind, and if they chose to use the left-hand side driveway to make a 3-point turn, they would accidentally, as they reverse out of the driveway, end up on the wrong side of the road. So depending on the situation, if a candidate corrects it as soon as possible without too much of a hesitation and obviously lack of understanding where they are, it could be an immediate fail. But we had instances where a candidate corrects immediately and would not even get marked for it. If you cross the unbroken line or double unbroken lines, regardless of the situation, that would be immediate fail based on your inaccurate path. So where there are double lines or single unbroken white line, you could not cross that line under no circumstances. Sometimes if there's an emergency, if there's a traffic controllers directing, if there are any roadworks, that would obviously override your path. So if you're directed by a road traffic controller to go over the line and go to the opposite side of the road, that is fine. Proper choice of lanes could influence the path and the number of points that you achieve in a driving assessment. For example, if a person's been in the right-hand side lane, which is a fast lane, so multiple lanes were designed to decongest the traffic. So, obviously during the peak hours traffic, particularly if you're turning, shortly after. So just understand that, most of the time you should be in the left-hand side lane if it's a choice of two lanes. In a situation where you were instructed to turn left and then immediately right, you should go over to the right lane if it's safe to do so, rather than going to the left lane and after 5, 6, 10 meters changing over to the right lane, because you would potentially hold up traffic and lose points for your flow. You also have to understand that the speed of your movement when you're turning a corner, for example, can play a big role when you're getting marked and judged for your path. So if you didn't slow down enough, clearly you're not going to be able to turn at a proper speed, which would automatically cause you to go a little bit wider or to cut the corner. So always understand the relationship between the movement and your path, because obviously that's going to cause you to go wider or shorter, or maltrack your movement of your car and automatically lose points for both your movement and your path. So while you're steering, we suggest that you focus on steering only, and just try to make sure that you don't oversteer, which would obviously prevent it from overcorrecting it later on. Like we always say, there's no substitute for a quality practice, so hire one of the expert instructors who can definitely help and resolve the issues of improper steering, your posture behind the wheel, and the position of your hands in particular. Please feel free to ask us any questions down in the comments below. We thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.